to this week's Fireside Chat with Jesse. I am joined today by Amy Gross, Senior Vice President and Head of Equipment Finance at Falcon Bank. Thanks for joining me, Amy.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Nah, it's great to have you on here. Glad to see you're moved into your new office there in St. Cloud, and it's excited to have you on the program.
Yep, I am. I am here in person, so it's great.
And of course, you know, the weather's been relatively warm up until probably the time that you decided to move. And then,
yeah, nothing like unloading a moving truck in 10 below weather.
Yeah, I don't envy that at all. I was just, because I was up there last week and they were for NIFA, and they were like, oh yeah, we've had unseasonably warm. We don't know if we're going to have any, ice fishing at all, which is completely fair. I don't want to go on ice if it's not safe. And sure enough, that happened. Anyhow, everything happens for a reason, right?
That's right. That's right. The cold snap is done now, at least for a while. So
cold snap is done.
It's all good.
Well, that's great. Well, even though Colorado, I'm sure it wasn't as dramatic as some of the temperature you can get in Minnesota.
No. I mean, we would get cold snaps in Colorado, but largely, you get the random snowstorm and then the sun would come out and it all melt, and 30 and sunny in Colorado is a different story than 30 and cloudy, but it's all good.
That's fair. I mean, from the Northeast, it would snow and be like, oh, it's beautiful. And then like 4 hours later, it's all black. And you're just like, come on, like, do some good stuff for once.
Yes.
But Amy, for those individuals who haven't had a chance to meet you, do you mind just kind of discussing your career to date in equipment finance?
Sure. So I have been in the industry over 30 years, long time. I spent right out of college, got my first job with this company called General Electric in GE Capital. Started in the finance department. I ended up being with the company for 16 or 17 years until really the meltdown in 08 and 09 when they let us all go. But got to do a lot of great things there. Started in finance, moved into sales, very quickly moved into a leadership capacity. I was in their vendor finance group for a large portion of that. The last stop I made at GE was actually in their public finance group. And so that's where I learned kind of the direct side, private placement bonds, that kind of thing. And in 09, I joined Key and moved to Colorado. Started running the federal team and then Muni and then both. Picked up commercial vendor along the way, and that was just a great experience as well. I was there 14 and a half years. Again, changes outside of our control, and found myself looking for the next gig, and now I've landed at Falcon National in their equipment leasing division, and very excited, and hopefully this will be my third and final stop.
That's perfectly fair. So right out of college, just joined GE. I've obviously interviewed several people that have been through their program, leadership programs, et cetera. So it definitely gives you a wide variety and swath of things that you can do.
It does, and the leadership training at GE was phenomenal. I mean, getting to go and spend time at Crotonville and some of the classes they put on. I mean, they actually trained you on what's the right way to do an employee review, and how do you handle a performance discussion, the really basic stuff like that, but as well as understanding, how financials worked and how the business made money. And those are all extremely crucial things that you need to understand to be a good employee. But it was a great experience.
Sure. And that's I think probably few and far between. Maybe there's a handful of equipment finance organizations that actually are that intuitive with their leadership training today.
Yeah. Yep.
A lot of it's go out, figure it out, trial by fire.
Right. Trial by error. Yes.
Where were you living previously to move into Colorado?
I'm originally from Iowa. I was born and raised in Iowa. And when I first started with GE, I was in their Cedar Rapids office. And then they moved me to the Detroit area after the Heller acquisition, and I helped integrate that business. And then moved to Minneapolis when I joined their public finance team, and then Colorado. And now I'm back in Minnesota again.
So it's very familiar territory. It's not like me who
Absolutely.
moved from New Jersey to Arizona in the summertime, and then you're just like, what am I doing? I made a very bad decision.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, we have a lot of friends and family in sort of these, kind of area, Iowa, South Dakota, Minnesota, Illinois. So it is a little bit like coming home for me.
Sure, sure, sure. So I just wanted to kind of talk about the equipment finance industry. I'm assuming our paths probably initially crossed sometime
Mhm.
somewhere at an ELFA event in the past. So what is the, I guess, equipment finance industry mean to you, Amy, in your career?
Well, certainly, being a part of the association, you realize really how big it is, but also small in some ways.
Sure,
It's so many people and it's trillions of dollars of business. But really, you got to connect the dots in terms of what we do for businesses large and small and vendors, and you throw municipalities into it and really being meaningful in the communities that we all live and thrive in. And so when you start connecting the dots on how meaningful you can be to a wide variety of companies and communities, then that becomes a really special thing.
sure, sure. Absolutely. And then I've never had the experience of dealing with municipalities and everything. I can only imagine some of that red tape or whatever you have to go through to get some of that. Uh, any advice for organizations out there that are maybe struggling to get into that market that you might be able to share? Or
Um,
do you just stay away from them and say, nah, not interested?
oh no, Muni is a great business, but it does require expertise. So definitely you need the right people, whether externally or internally, that can help you make it work. You know, depending on what type of market you're going to be in, whether it's the
Sure,
bond side or the leasing side, it can take a while, and you need a team of people around you that do know what they're doing that can help train you. It's not you decide to get in on it and you just sort of dabble in it. There are
sure.
many, legal firms that can help you as well. But and there's also an industry association, the AGLF, Association for Government Leasing and Finance. That's a good resource as well. But yes, it is. Every jurisdiction has its own rules that need to be followed, and as long as you're doing it the right way, it's very good business. It can be very rewarding, and very profitable.
Sure. Sure. And so it's like the no BS part of it. It's like you got to know what you're doing. There's no
Yes,
dabbling whatsoever.
exactly. Yes, yes. You don't just try.
Right. It's not gonna give this a shot. No, you're not. No, you're not.
Yes,
Stick to what you're good at.
exactly.
Um, so like attending conferences throughout the years, do you mind just kind of sharing kind of some of the benefits of, 'cause I believe you were also on some of the committees, you know, as
Yeah,
well. So I just wanted to
I
kind of
have
talk about
been
what that meant.
on some of the committees, and the last 3 years I was on the board,
Okay.
and I almost feel like it wasn't the full board experience because a lot of it was COVID and we were shut down and not shut down and all of this and that. Um, but that that was an awesome experience. I think the conferences are they're obviously a great networking opportunity. And being that I was looking for my next opportunity uh, during the last conference, um, I didn't know how showing up to that, like if I was going to kind of be the third wheel I didn't really belong anywhere, but man, did I, the support was really overwhelming. The support I got from people I didn't know that just wanted to have a conversation. People were always willing to take a phone call, hear about, what was going on, what I was hearing in the industry, because I was talking to a lot of companies
Sure.
without
Sure.
sharing anyone's secrets. But I was really overwhelmed by the support that I received from both people I knew and people that I hadn't met before. So
No,
that would be top of my list, is just the networking and the community aspect of it.
sure. And Julie and the people at the ELFA do a great job with
Oh, they're
people
fantastic.
as you're transitioning. It's like, hey, I want to come to this, but I really don't want to spend like a non-member fee to get in there.
Yes.
And
Exactly.
they're pretty flexible in it. And
Yes.
it's kind of why I mean, I'm only 19 years in to this industry, but it's kind of like the Hotel California, where it's like I don't really want to leave.
Yeah, definitely. And the more you go to things like that, you start to see more familiar faces, and it's not so intimidating, than when maybe somebody new is coming to it. And it's like, oh, everybody knows each other. Well, there's always someone that is willing to have a conversation with you.
Sure, absolutely. And let's talk about the job search, if you don't mind sharing.
Sure.
So how was that experience for you?
Well, for me, I mean, I had been 14 and a half years since I went through this. I'm at a different level now. Um, it was really a lot of reaching out, um, networking, really, and getting in front of what opportunities might be out there. I had probably the biggest category, and of course, we're all in leasing, so we all have metrics. But the biggest category of companies I had was they're interested, they're just not ready at this time. It's kind of a squishy time in the industry,
Sure.
and so there was definitely a lot of interest. It was just a matter of finding the right one that clicked and that made the most sense, for me and for them. Um, so here I am.
No, no, no. And I love the location that you landed at, but I'll get to that here in a little bit.
Yeah.
But I
Well,
can.
and
Oh,
too,
go
I
ahead.
mean, being that I didn't have a job, I mean, I was able to step away periodically. I still manage my time. My work week was still my work week. I worked Monday through Friday. I had more flexibility in my schedule.
Sure.
But I felt like I had just as many meetings on my calendar than when I wasn't working, but I was able to step away, do some family things, and just really decompress a little bit, knowing that, it could be a long time before I have that kind of flexibility again.
Yeah, so that was my next question. It was like, how was that impact on yourself and your family? But I'm glad you're able to step away for a little bit.
Yeah.
I wish when I was transitioning, that I would have actually taken some time.
Some time. Well, it's
Yeah,
hard to do because you feel like there's a clock hanging over your head, and that you feel that pressure to find something. And there were days ups and downs. And I spoke to my former teammates that were also impacted on a regular basis, and sometimes they would just reach out and you could tell it was just kind of a hard day, or there would be a day where it's like, all right, I've had enough, I just need to walk away from it for a while. But just still being able to maintain those connections from my former team and find ways to where we could help each other was huge.
sure. And it's good to have those people there just from a sanity check, right?
Yeah,
So
absolutely, absolutely.
and so probably also in the job search, as much as people were interested in you, you probably also were more like, okay, is this a position that I want with this company at this time?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, you do. And it's hard, I did pass on some opportunities, very grateful that I had those opportunities. But at the end of the day, yeah, they have to decide on you and you have to decide on them.
And then, so I guess um, Falcon National Bank, like what was kind of the driving force behind wanting to go and lead that organization, Amy?
Yeah. Well, it just sort of people say you'll know when you find the right thing. It really clicked for me with I was very impressed with the people I met when I came here. From a location standpoint, it really couldn't be any more perfect for me. And I wasn't looking at, all right, I want to find a job in St. Cloud, Minnesota, but it just kind of happened.
Sure.
And there's a lot of from a personal standpoint, it makes a lot of sense for us. And it's obviously an area that we're very familiar with. And so it just clicked. And, your gut kind of tells you when something is right.
No, that's fantastic. And like I said before we started recording, you have some really good human capital there at your organization, and with you leading it,
Absolutely.
I'm excited for to see what's coming up, in the near and long term
Mhm.
future for Falcon.
Yeah,
But
what really made me feel good about the decision, even more so, is when I announced it on LinkedIn. I had quite a few people either personal message me or put comments that said, "Hey, I've worked with Falcon in whatever capacity it was, and they are awesome to deal with." Just offered that up. So that was really validating to my decision.
sure, because I mean, when you obviously you're a member of an organization, you're putting your reputation behind everything, and
Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
it makes that a little bit easier then. Or probably like,
Yeah.
okay, yep, I got this. I got this.
Yeah. Yeah.
What advice would you offer someone who's in the job market today in equipment finance?
Leverage your network. Don't be afraid to try and reach out to people that maybe you've never spoken with before. And try more than, like, if you have a certain, like, create a list of companies that you think you might like to look for, work for. Um, find ways into that company using your network, because you have to get in front of a job opening. Once that job opening hits LinkedIn or somebody's web page, if you apply for that job, the chances of you getting a response back are pretty slim. It just kind of goes into the ether, and you may just get a quick rejection, and you don't know why because you can't talk to anyone. So I mean, trying to preempt those opportunities is definitely what I would recommend. And I would say, do give yourself, some time to really reflect on what it is that you want, what you're good at, what you think would make you happy. Come up with, what is your value proposition? What do you bring to the table? The resume is a tool for that, but when people ask you, well, what are you looking for? You need to kind of have your elevator speech so you can answer that question. But you have to be I believe, very deliberate about it. And not just, it's okay not to take the first thing that comes along or something that maybe isn't quite what you were looking for. You just can't second guess yourself and make the decision and move on.
Sure, sure. And it's a very valid point there, where it's like, oh yeah, no, I need this. And it's like, do you? Is that really what's in the long
Yeah.
term interest of you? Is this
Yeah.
really for me?
Well, and
So
time plays into it. Like, have you just started your search? I mean, did you get laid off? I mean, are you toward maybe the end of your timeline where maybe you do need to take something that you know, it's okay to take something that would be a lateral move too, knowing that you might
sure.
have a path to ultimately where you want to be. So is it an organization that you really want to get in with? And then it takes off from there.
No, makes complete sense. And now you running an equipment finance organization, I kind of want to get into a topic of, okay, so 30 years, and like it's refreshing to see, another female running an equipment finance organization. As much as we've been talking about it, especially over
Yeah.
the last couple of years, you still don't see that very often in this space. So kind of what are your thoughts on how women are kind of growing in the leadership role. I mean, you're in a leadership role under Adam at Key, right? So
Yep.
obviously he believed in you and the organization did. So it's not something new, but now you are the person in charge, which is awesome.
Right. Yeah, I think we're definitely moving the needle. How fast it should be doing is probably up for debate, but I think we're moving in the right direction, but we have a ways to go. Um, my glass is half full, so I have to believe we'll get to that point someday, and we really have to be deliberate about it. And you know, men in the industry need to buy in, be advocates, and really be serious about wanting to develop women and give them the opportunity. And maybe they need development, maybe they're managed a little differently. I don't know, but we just have to keep moving forward, definitely, and keep advocating. And it would be nice to, as new women are coming into the industry, that by their time they're my age, it's no longer an issue. You know, it's kind of like, I'm going to compare it to like Caitlin Clark. I mean, she's such a big thing in basketball right now, and you see all these young girls that, and there have been other fantastic women basketball players, but
Sure, sure.
these young girls, when they get to be Caitlin's age, it should be a non-issue that they don't even think twice that they could be her someday or accomplish what she's accomplished.
Hey, plus there's a little Iowa bias in there, so I don't blame
Just
you.
a little
Right?
bit. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. No, but I agree, and it's like advocating, for that is something I definitely believe in. That's why it's
Mhm.
just refreshing when you see it. So
Yeah.
um, yeah. So I ask everyone who comes on here, Amy, to give me a little fun fact about themselves. So
Hmm.
outside of wanting to live in the Midwest or Northern Midwest and equipment finance, what makes Amy Gross tick?
Wow, what makes her tick? Well, I can share one of my passions. Some people know this about me, but I am an avid freshwater fisher woman.
Oh,
We actually have a place on a lake in northern Minnesota, and that is my happy place. And
okay.
so I'm in the boat. I actually taught my husband how to fish. And if he ever
That's
watches this,
awesome.
he'll probably kill me. But he thought it was the biggest waste of time when I first met him. And now he's all in. It just took that one, like that first, big bass on the end of the line. So that's something that we obviously really enjoy doing together, being in nature, that kind of decompression. That's what makes me, better when I come back to the office, is having that time to just, be in that different environment, nature, all of that.
Yeah,
So,
being on a lake, before the sun comes up and just decompressing. It's nice and quiet. Now it's
mhm,
better if it's catching and not fishing.
that's true.
Just full transparency.
But I've always said that a bad day in the boat beats a good day in the office any day.
Right. Now, do you ever do any like deep sea fishing?
I have not. That's on a bucket list for someday. But I'll do it. I'll find my way there someday.
It's fun. As long as you don't get seasick, you'd be perfectly fine.
Yeah.
When I caught my first marlin, it was like 2.5 hours, so it is quite a
Wow.
bit, but
That's a
it's
little
worth
intimidating.
it's worth it at the end. I mean, you're just arms for the next couple of days. Like, no, I'm not going golfing. Leave me alone.
Yeah, that's a little, I would need help. I think I would need help to do that.
And what's the biggest fish you've caught?
Uh, well, I caught a 40-inch muskie one year by
Oh
accident.
wow. Oh,
That was pretty exciting. That was pretty exciting. I
now,
managed
now
to
by
get it
now,
in
now
the
by
boat,
now, now, now
so
by accident, was it like you were catching something else and then it ate it, or Just
No, I was trolling with this tiny little shad wrap, middle of summer, we weren't expecting to catch anything. Pole goes over and I yanked the pole. I'm like, oh, I'm stuck on a log. Like that's how like
yeah,
and then
yeah.
this big fish like jumped out of the water. I was like, oh my God, what
You're
did
like,
I do?
you're like,
So
please, line, don't break. Please don't.
yes, yes. So we
Please
got
don't.
it in the boat. Then we're worried about getting it back in the water, kind of thing. And so that was quite a thrill. That was quite a
Right.
thrill. Haven't caught one since, but
Hey, hey. All
I was
it takes
like,
is that
oh
one.
wow, I could do that again. So then went and bought a bunch of musky lures and all the, we go all in and didn't catch one again.
Yeah.
So
Next one will come when you're not expecting it.
exactly, exactly.
Well, I did not know that about you. Have you ever been fly fishing?
I have not. That's sad. I do have a fly fishing rod though.
Okay.
We so I will do it at some point. I will.
Okay. Brooke and I did it a couple of years ago in Yellowstone. Um,
Uh,
we didn't catch anything, so I'm kind of a little on it. Where it's like it's a lot of effort, man. You just go like this. It's like you can't drink a beer while you're going like this. I'm like, I don't understand this
you
thing.
gotta
So I'm
get
like,
like one of those hats that has the two cans in it and the line that runs in. What are you thinking? Come on.
you know what?
Come on, Jesse. Get
Ah,
creative.
yeah. No, note to self. I'll try this again. I'll try it again. Uh, so, Amy, what can the equipment finance industry expect from Falcon, over the next year and years to come?
Great things. We're going to I'm really a week into this and
I didn't mean to put you on the
I
spot
know
by asking you to do this in
yes,
like I think we
yes.
talked about it annual, and I was like, "Hey, what are your thoughts?" And then when I set you over, all of a sudden I saw, "Oh, I got to change some of these questions."
Yeah. No, I would expect great things. This is a great group of people. I'm really trying to understand, what is it that they're really good at so that we can find ways in the market to plug in. We're definitely going to focus more on having a better partnership with our bank because we are one bank and explore different areas in the vendor finance market. But I don't quite know. Everybody's asking me that, like, tell us what we're going to be doing, and we're going to figure that out. But definitely, uh, we should see a repeat performance this year. It's just a great group of people, and I don't have a very specific answer, but there's a lot of really, really positive things to work with here, and we'll find a way in what makes sense.
Well, excellent, Amy. Well, it's always good to see your face. I appreciate you joining me, especially one week into the new digs there. So,
Sure.
thank you for your time, and I'm excited for you and excited for the future of Falcon National Bank Equipment Finance.
Yeah. Thank you, and thanks for having me, Jesse.
All right, we'll talk soon. Have a good one.
Yeah. You too.
Bye. It wasn't that bad, right?